Okay, well, um, I don't know how many people are watching this, but this is actually my first live stream on YouTube. So, I've been doing a lot of live streaming for like a good while now, but like it was not on YouTube, it was actually on Google Meet. So, this is actually one of my first times here, all right, and I want to just say that I'm actually thrilled to like be with the YouTube firm now. Since July, I've been planning on coming to YouTube to um, start live streaming, start dropping educational content and all of that. But like I never actually started it. So right now, I'm kind of happy that I'm doing this. Coming out of my shell and all of that. So I want to try my best to give everybody that's watching my videos a good content, something they can learn from, something that they can use and earn from as well. Okay. Primarily, I'm starting this channel with the whole purpose of like educating some upcoming traders, as well as helping to analyze with live analysis. You get and more things to come. So today, I'm going to do a live market analysis. All right. Um, we are here trading forex. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to go into synthetics or crypto, but yeah, let's check some forex pairs. Okay. Starting up here, we have DXY. All right. So let us see what DXY is going to bring for us today. So first things first is that this is 17th of November 2025. All right. It's a brand new week. It's on Monday. This is a Monday morning here in Nigeria. Okay, so this is 11 a.m. over here. We are about 3 hours away from New York session. All right. So I just want to do a little recap slash. Let's get into what we're going to see this week. Okay. Um, Let us get into the weekly time frame first of all. Okay. Now this here is the weekly time frame. We are looking at DXY. Let's see what DXY has planned for us. Okay. So far so good. If you're using the next candle model over here, we have a bearish candle, another bearish candle. We had a sweep of this week's candle over here back in October. All right. So now, what am I expecting? Let's check something first. What is the range of the other candle here? This here is a range. All right. We have another one here. Okay, this high, this low. We are now working with the range of this particular candle, and since we closed below the range of this one here, all right, I'm actually expecting another close below the range, unless we have something else that the chart is trying to tell us. Okay, so the thing here that I noticed is that we did have a fair value gap here. Now the main question here is if we actually close below or above the fair value gap. On Mondays and Wednesdays, I normally do this analysis with the main purpose of on the Monday I try to like get the direction of where we're going to, and then on Wednesdays we now see if we are still following that direction or we have to change plans, because sometimes the market wants to change plans in the middle of the week. All right, that is on Wednesday. So let us look in depth on what price has to offer over here. Okay. So on the weekly time frame, we are low-key respecting this fair value gap over here. Okay, as you can see, we actually broke on top of this candle, which shows that a good sign of a good bullish sign. All right. So if you're checking up here, we have this breakout structure basically. So let's go down to the daily time frame and see what the daily is trying to show us over there. Okay. Not forgetting that we have like a little sweep on the weekly time frame, but then we have to change structure before we can say that the trend has changed completely, or at least have a change in state of delivery. All right, and so far so good. We have not had that yet. Okay, so let's continue moving and see what we have up here. Okay, now if you have been following up with me or you're in my community, I did mention a while back that we could be using this place here as a possible order block. All right, so I did mention that in my last live analysis, which was I think was on Thursday last week. All right, when I also announced that we'll be making live analysis here on YouTube. Okay, it was on a Google Meet for the community mostly. All right. So down here we see that this could have been our other block, but unfortunately I don't think it was used. All right. I also did mention that I had something very similar on USD JPY. We're going to get into that very soon. Okay. So when we now go down to the 4-hour time frame, this here is where I plan to take a buy from. Okay, so I refined that other block all the way down to the 4-hour time frame, allowing it to be here because I saw this as a possible liquidity. That's an endorsement. Okay, so I thought that price would actually come down here and maybe take out this low here, and then we pump from there. Okay, but that did not happen, sadly. But I think I'm still quite optimistic about that because look at this. We have a fair value gap right here. We have this here looking like equal lows. All right. So we have this here plus this what could possibly be equal lows. All right. So mark that as liquidity. And then we have price at a fair value gap currently. Okay. So we have that over there. So this is a fair value gap. Let me just delete this arrow for now. Okay, and so far so good. Price seems to be respecting the fair value gap on the 4-hour time frame, although I do not like this sort of rejection whenever we are trading from a fair value gap. All right, but yeah, there's nothing we can do. Currently we're already in London session. All right, so around 9 usually is where I'm supposed to start looking for entering in to 11. Yeah, 11. So let's go down to lower time frame and see if we have anything there that's going to give us any clue of what we're doing here. Okay, so on the 1-hour time frame, price seems to be somewhat bullish still. Okay, remember that we have that 4-hour fair value gap here. Okay, we can see here from the breakout structure that we are basically still low-key going to the downside. Breakout structure here, although we failed to actually take this low, but well, I feel like it's just for the retracement. If not for the retracement, then we are going down 100%. Okay, but so far so good. I'm seeing here that we have a little sweep over here, okay, which is a good indication. It shows that price may have the intention of actually going to the other side, which is the downside. Okay, so if you have this intention of actually going to the downside, then we might actually want to look for a setup that will help us to do that. Okay, usually I would be looking into this particular candle here, but I want to go lower, maybe to the 30 minutes time frame, and check out what we have there. Okay, now in the 30 minutes time frame, what we have here is actually quite simple and very well. Okay, let me just break it down here. Okay, so there's a sweep, there's a breakout structure, right? That breakout structure actually came up with some fair value gaps over here, but then I'm looking into these ones over here. Remember, this is the white candle that I just showed you guys a few minutes ago. All right, why I was looking into that is because I knew that this could be another block or has or have an inverse fair value gap inside it, or a fair value gap even. So this here is a fair value gap. Okay, let me shift away the 4-hour fair value gap for a bit. So this here is the 30 minutes fair value gap, and this here is an inverse fair value gap. Okay, so the thing here is that whenever I see this kind of a thing, we call it a BPR, a balanced price range. Okay, so in this BPR now, what I'm looking forward to doing is that looking at the one that has the smallest range, which is this one over here, the IFVG. Okay, and then I will take it from the middle of that IFVG, which should be around here. Okay, my stop loss, you can set it at the high or you can set it at the liquidity level, but then the safest spot is actually at the high as usual. Okay, so this now can be erased. Okay, I can mark this out as my IFVG or my BPR, it doesn't really matter, but like I'm actually looking to see a bearish DXY right now. Where is my target? My target, I'm going to look at the equal lows that we had here, or this endorsement liquidity that we had here before. Okay, so this is my first target around here, and this is my second target. Okay, now this is going to give me a 1:9. All right, this is actually for DXY. Now this can still fail, and if this fails, it means that we are literally seeing more bullish pressure, which I'm not yet expecting to see. But well, I'm not really the dictator of the market. It could happen, it could not happen. All right, either ways, let's see what price is going to do next. Okay, so all we can do now is just to like wait and see what price does next. Okay, now since we're now bearish on DXY, let's look into Euro USD. Now I like looking to EURUSD immediately after looking at DXY, and the main reason is because whatever DXY is doing, usually we expect EURUSD to do the opposite. Okay, and I want to check that out right now, see if that theory is true. Now this is the 1 week time frame. Okay, right now we are looking at, on DXY we're looking at price going bearish, right? So here we're looking at price going bullish. Look at this, a bullish candle here, bullish candle here. We closed above the range of this previous candle, so I'm still expecting another close above it, unless we sweep the high and then we might try to go for a run down. Okay, but so far so good, it doesn't look like it. Maybe it's a retracement or something, but we'll check it out right now. Okay, so looking at this right now, seeing here that is like EU reacted to this here. This here is also a BPR or inverse favorable gap, whichever one you prefer, but like the inverse favorable gap is certainly there. Okay, and even though we close below here, is lucky respecting it still. So I want to see what price is going to do after that. Okay, pardon me, my network was a little bit slow. Okay, it's a new location, so there's that too. Yeah, so right now on the daily time frame we are currently in a fair value gap. Okay, so this here is a daily fair value gap, and another thing that we should notice is that we do have a little high over here. Okay, so I can take that as a break of structure, especially if you go down to the 4-hour time frame. I think we should be seeing it clearer now. The break of structure is certainly there. Okay, that fair value gap that we had can now be refined to this. Okay, so we have a 4-hour fair value gap or daily fair value gap, which was now refined to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, and now we have to look into the possibility of price continue its journey to the upside. Okay, on that journey, where would I use for my target? I'll be targeting the immediate high, or I could target these guys over here. Okay, because they look like all highs to me, so I think I like that idea. All right, so these are my two targets over here, and if you remember on DXY it was kind of the same. Okay, they were actually matching, so we have a high here, we have another high here. So if you go down to the 1-hour time frame, you should be seeing something somewhat similar. Okay, I'm not actually seeing the whole. Okay, I think there's a sweep here. We do have a sweep. Let's check if price is reacting to it. We have a sweep here. Alright, on the 30 minutes time frame, let's see if we have that change in structure. Okay, we have the sweep, we have the change in structure alongside the fair value gap, which shows a good momentum. But then something that's happening here is that, okay, we have the BOS, but this here was supposed to be the other block, or we should have used this fair value gap to start pushing price to the upside. Okay, so this now is showing me a possible problem, because I'm expecting price to be going up. So why is price dropping down this much? Those are some questions that you have to answer. Okay, but yeah, sometimes price likes to do that. It's still valid to me. Okay, we're still basically at the entry, but then my confidence in this trade has already dropped, simply because we went below the other block. Okay, we closed below the other block actually. There's some people that they will just limit their order, okay, to the other block. So those people, they have already been taken out. This is why I like to shift my SL down to the sweep level. Sometimes I shift it below or getting all the way to the low, right? But then that does not mean that I'm saved. Price could still come back down and continue going down from there. But so far so good. I don't really see why price would be dropping, since we have some confirmations from the higher time frame. All right, so I'm going to leave that there. Probably I'll come back to this on the New York session to look at it and see if the setup is still valid. If it's not valid, then I'm going to look for a way to like still push price to the downside. Okay, that is for EU. We have analyzed the XY, we've analyzed EU. Now let's check USD CHF. All right, now let's go back to the weekly time frame. All right, let me clear this. I don't know where these runs are coming from. I don't think I've analyzed this pen like a while now. Okay, so on USD CHF, right off the bat, I'm already seeing some things here that are actually interesting to me. Okay, first off, we have a sweep around here, although it's worth to note that price has been ranging badly. So if the analysis does not go according to the plan, then I cannot be blamed for that, or maybe I can, but like the range is usually not my friend. Okay, I like to trade with trends, okay, instead of ranges. So yeah, I feel like this range has been going on since July. Let's just say July. So I think that will make price somehow choppy. But well, let's do what we have first. Now, on the weekly time frame, you can see here that there's a sweep. All right. After that sweep, price just tries to go down all the way down. So people that trade CRT, I don't. Would have taken a trade around here and sold all the way down to this candle here, if I'm not mistaken, because this is the last white candle I'm seeing here. Okay. But now what I'm saying is that we have a inverse favorable gap around here. Okay. Although it's not yet valid to me. The reason being we have not closed below this candle here. Okay, we need a close below this area so we can have a change instead of delivery. All right, or we have to just close below this one here to have a complete breakup structure. Okay, so yeah, I'm not that confident on USDCHF that we are fully bearish, but the bearish idea is certainly there. All right. Now, is what to note what price is doing right now. We have another sweep around here, and I don't really like the idea of having sweep here, sweep there, sweep there, sweep there. It messes up with the whole analysis of a thing. So seems like we are still in the whole range kind of a thing, because the price is somewhat unstable in my eyes. Okay, so it's not something that I would actually be willing to trade right now. Okay, especially from the higher time frame. So if the higher time frame is bad, then the lower time frame is going to be worse than that. At least to me, it's going to be that way. There are some people that will still make money and no wahala. Kudos to you. Okay, congratulations. But personally, I don't want to do things that do not really fit well into my own trading plan. Okay. So I guess we're going to keep USDCHF. Let's see. Let's go to some of my favorite pairs. Alright. Let's look into gold. I heard that gold was selling earlier today when the market opened. Alright. So let's go to the weekly time frame and check what we have there. Okay, on the weekly time frame, the candle is actually looking pretty weird. Okay, I mentioned that we did have a fair value gap here, and it seems like we're obeying this particular fair value gap. So we should have been looking for entries to push it to the top. By top, I mean over here. Okay. But so far so good. We don't have a lot of ideas that are saying, okay, we're going to the top, because I mean, look at this candle. This might as well just be a rejection candle. All right. Some people will even call it a pin bar. Now, if gold somehow manages to go back down and close below this place here, then gold is cooked. It's going to start melting all the way down. Okay, because that's definitely going to be a bearish signal. Okay, some people call it an M pattern. I'll just feel like it's a failure to close above the high, which shows that price is now becoming weaker to the upside. So the sellers are not going to have the upper hand. All right. Now, over here we see that there's a bunch of highs around here, so I think there should be some resistance or some support around here. My bad. So this is where I'll be targeting if gold starts to dump. All right, this is the major target here on the higher time frame for me personally. Some other people might disagree. That's okay. Now let's check what is going on over here. Okay, so far so good. Gold seems to be quite stable on the downside. Okay. We saw a fair value gap here. Seems like price reacted to it and pushed it down. We have another fair value gap just here, okay, and seems that it's also being respected as well. So perhaps we can say that if we use this fair value gap to push price down, maybe we are going to push it up again. Okay, so far so good. I'm still bullish on gold, okay, until proven otherwise. This here is a breakout structure. We actually used a fair value gap to break it, so that's a very nice and clean displacement. Okay, right now we're respecting this fair value gap, so I want to see if you have any other clues that might say that price is going to the upside. Okay, if you don't have a setup, then we don't have to trade. Okay, you don't have to force trades or anything, but yeah, I think I want to look for something that shows that confidence in this that I'm showing guys right now. Okay, well, on the 4 hour time frame, we don't really, or personally I don't see much over there. Okay, we have this fair value gap here that's inside the daily fair value gap, so probably we're using this. Even though this candle came all the way down here, to me it doesn't really matter. What it matters is that it not closed below that fair value gap. Okay, although it's somehow sketchy, but yeah, it did happen. Let's check the 1 hour time frame. The 1 hour time frame, that fair value gap is still there, but it was violated. I don't see much on gold right now, to be very honest with you guys. I don't see much on gold, so I might be skipping on gold too. Okay, the main thing here now that we have found so far is only on EU and DXY, but I'm still outside my trading time frame. Okay, it's mostly for London session, people that trade the London session, but for me personally, I want to keep on trading the New York session. Okay, so it's just like have an overall bias for the week. Okay, so for the XY I'm bearish, for EU I'm bullish. Now if DXY is actually bearish, then we should be looking into gold being bullish to some extent because of the USD at the end. Okay, it has to have some correlation to an extent, but well, gold will always do its thing. It's a different pair entirely. It's not like the normal currency pairs. Okay, so yeah, for now I don't really have anything on gold. Okay, but I'm expecting some bullish price action, so I might be open to that, maybe from the 4 hour or the 1 hour time frame later on. Now let's look into Euro AUD. Okay, on the weekly time frame, let's start with the weekly, since it's in a week. On the weekly time frame, okay, no, I don't think I want to analyze this one because I mentioned to you guys that this is also ranging. Last week Thursday, when I was doing the live analysis, I also checked it out on the lower time frame. It was also messed up for me. Okay, so I don't really like to check it out for now. So let's go to Nasdaq. Okay, or Nas 100, whatever people might want to call it. So let's check this out. Okay, we had a bearish candle, then this was another bearish candle, but then the problem with this bearish candle is that we swept the previous week's low. Okay, so that shows that there might be some reversal incoming over there. Now if we set the low of this particular week here, like I said, you might see a reversal, but then the proof of that is going to be on the lower time frames. Okay, also alongside that, we might have used this guy here as another block. Okay, because there is no candle coming up here. This here is a high. All right, so this is definitely a break of structure to me, and this here is another block. All right, on the weekly time frame, which it seems like we are using. We even have a sweep around here, so it's not that bad actually. On the daily time frame, what do we have there? Okay, the sweep is extremely valid. Yeah, now I'm actually looking forward to buying Nasdaq. Okay, we see here that we already have a sweep. We see a very nice pin bar. Okay, bullish pin bar, I guess we can call it that. Now what I want to see is a probable setup or a nice setup. Okay, you can even see here that on Thursday we closed bearish. We tried closing bearish, but it did not work out, so we actually swept this. Oh damn, that's crazy. We have about 5 minutes to close this candle, and I want to see how it's going to close. Like, okay, so far so good. I'm only seeing sweeps over here, but I'm still very bullish on Nasdaq for now. Okay, I need a nice setup here, otherwise that's not going to play out so nice. But yeah, that fair value gap that we saw earlier was now refined to the 1 hour time frame, and it's still working, it's still playing out. We even have a sweep around here, so basically the break of structure was around here, I guess. So we should be looking for a probable setup within this range here. Okay, this range here. So from here all the way here, there might be something there that is worth looking at. So in the 30 minutes time frame, this is the last bullish candles, right? So probably we have a bullish order block around here. Okay, we have a sweep, another sweep. So it's just sweeping one after the other, but like what, break of structure, a sweep, then we might be coming back down somewhere around here. Okay, usually in times like this I like to take out the Fibonacci retracement and check out where the 50% is at and target anything that's below that 50%. This here is the 50%. Over here we have the OTE and the golden zone, which is the ideal places to buy from, and this is the best place to buy from, but then we need to have a PY that's aligning with it for me personally. So I'm going to just use this as a sweep. All right, then I'm going to see if price is actually going to respect this other block when it's coming back down. Okay, so I'll be looking forward to buying from here. Okay, I'll take a long position around here. Since this is the 30-minute time frame, I take some time there. Probably by the New York session, we should see that this setup being played out. Okay, now where are my targets for this? Okay, what I usually like to use as target is places where price reacted to. So we have one here, one here, one here. There was a whole bunch of reactions around this level. So to me, this is actually a good level to take profits. Or we can also use the high, which is around here. If you're using the immediate high, you're going to get about 2.66. Okay, but over here we have a 1:4.5. Okay, another target, since we are very bullish on the from the daily time frame and overall, would be to actually target this high over here. Okay, remember this whole thing is playing out from the daily time frame, so there's a good chance that we might actually get all the way up here. This one is another target, but this one's down. They're like swinging trades because, let's be honest, it's going to take some time to get there, and this is the last target around here. Okay, now is it feasible? To an extent, maybe, probably, yeah. Could it happen? Absolutely, but now we have to let price decide. So the overall target here is going to be a 1:15. Okay, but personally I think I'll just stick to this one, a 1:4. But that's left for price to decide anyways. So yeah, I don't know if we can find any other thing again on the 15-minute time frame, but I think I'll just leave it to that. Okay, I want to take it close to the golden zone. If you want to play safe, you can actually bring your stop loss down here. Okay, we have already broken this high, so I don't really expect price to come back down below this candle over here. Okay, unless I don't think we forgot anything down there. So let's just wait and see what price is going to do next. I'm not expecting price to come below this area since we already had the breakout structure. Use the fair value gap to push price up, so there's no POI of interest for me in this particular in this area that's down here anymore. Okay, so I'll just wait for that. I'm not going to enter into this trade until I see a rejection from this area here, so just to be sure about it. So once we have the rejection, I'll enter in the next candle and I'll start seeing if you can push price to the upside. Okay, that's for Nasdaq. All right, what should we trade next? Okay, let's look into something more unusual. Let's go to Euro JPY. Okay, I've not analyzed this one in a while, so I don't know what the price action is like right now, but I'll be ending this live soon. Now let's check it out. Okay, we have a breakout structure here. Okay, possibly we might close above this range or something, and then it's going to create a fair value gap, which is going to say that price will come back to it. Okay, okay, wait, I did tell you guys, let me just go to USD JPY and then I get back to Euro JPY. Okay, I just want to show you guys something that I saw last week Thursday when I was trading, when I was showing you guys DXY. Okay, I did mention that DXY was looking somehow bullish last week, and I wanted to buy from that other block, right? So it turns out that USD JPY had something very similar to that. We saw here that there was a breakout structure, then there was a liquidity here, there was endorsements, and then a possible other block around here. Okay, so there was also a sweep too, showing that okay, price wants to go to that area or wants to go to that side, but now it did not happen. Okay, it did not happen. So basically I've already missed this trade. What we can wait for is to see another setup, because even if we don't play out the way we expect it to, something might happen still, and then we find another way around it. Okay, so now what I want to see is a very nice close above this particular candle over here. Okay, if I can get that, let me delete this, it's not necessary. If I can get a very nice close above this particular candle here, then I'll have high hopes that we could actually use this particular black candle here as another block. All right, refined other block is out of this one here. This here is the main other block, but then this here can also be used too. Okay, so this would be the main place where we'll be targeting, but now I need the 4-hour time, a very nice up candle that's going to close above here, come back here, and then go up again. Okay, For the target, I'm still going to target the same areas. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, it's from the daily time frame that I got these targets. Okay, so it's actually not that bad. It's just that this time around the stop loss is actually going to be a little bit bigger than we anticipated previously. Okay, now let me go back to Euro JPY. Alright, so I was saying that on the daily time frame, right? Yeah, so we have here, this here is a breakup structure. Alright, next up we do have okay, on that breakup structure we did have this candle coming back down here using this fair value gap, so I don't actually know if you're going to come down here again, but naturally or usually I would say that price has to come back down. Why? Because we have not actually gone down to the discount price. Okay, we have not seen discount pricing playing in yet, so if you check it from here to here, the discount area should actually be around here. Okay, and we have this nice other block sitting close to the OTE, and is also inside the golden zone too. Okay, so possibly if you see some sort of sweeps later, price might want to come down here. Might, that's the key word there. Okay, because everything inside this market is actually probability, so you have to honor that. Now on the 4 hours time frame, what we get, we see this is a sweep, right? Wait, let me go back to the daily time frame. Yeah, we get some sort of sweep here, although we just used it to enter inside this level gap, so I'm actually not convinced that we are going bearish yet. Okay, this was a sweep around here that made price to go down there. Okay, there's a sweep just here, as you guys can see there. Now let's check what else is there. We have sweeps here, sweeps around here too, but now I want to see some breakout structure so that I can just have a clear direction, but we don't have that yet. Okay, we do not have that yet. But if you're going to follow USD JPY, which I feel like is a bad idea because the correlation this year has been very off. I mean this in the sense that you see pairs like GU and EU going in opposite directions. GU might be buying and EU will be selling, or as we used to have it before, EJ and GJ, they move side to side, they move along just alike. But this time around they have not really been doing that. In fact, they have been very weird. Alright, so every pair is just doing whatever they want to do. So I've not really been using correlation like that recently as I used to. Okay, maybe until price is stable I can continue that later on, but for now, nah, I cannot do that. Okay, but now looking into what price is offering over here, we did have a breakout structure on the 1 hour time frame, and we had this fair value gap, and price is obeying the fair value gap. Okay, but I want to see another breakout structure here to confirm the uptrend. Otherwise I don't really have much trust in this trade. Okay, so if you can have a breakout structure above it here, I would love to see if you're going to come back to this particular down close candle, or maybe if you're going to form a fair value gap around here. Okay, which will be very helpful in determining the buyers of the trend, or the trade rather. So yeah, so this here is my expectation. We need to see a break above here, come back down, and then continue going up, if only we are bearish. Okay, I am bullish. Now I'm actually going with the bullish instance simply because of USD JPY. Okay, and because on the daily time frame we did have a fair value gap around here, okay, which seems to be pushing price to the upside. Look at how crazy this rejection is, and then we now have a very bullish candle coming in. Okay, this could have as well might be in another block, but then I don't really trust that yet. I want to see a second breakout structure. Assuming you had a breakout structure that came up to this level, like engulfing this particular candle over here, I would have said, okay, let's take a trade from this particular fair value gap. But I don't have that. I want to have a good clean trade confirmation so that I can actually take that trade, and at the end of the day probably hit TP. Okay, so yeah, that is what is going on right now. Okay, so I think I'm going to be ending my live analysis here. Okay, for today. um on Wednesday I should be doing another one. Okay, let's see how this whole thing is going. So on Wednesday we now know if I've been right or if I've been wrong. um if you're in my community, you can access my Telegram community by going to my link, okay, on my profile. I'll drop all these things over there for the Telegram community as well. Okay, so do well to give a like. Okay, also subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I'll be seeing you guys again on Wednesday. In the meantime, I'm going to create some videos which I'll be publishing very soon. Okay, I want to put in videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So probably I'll be doing more of trade breakdowns and educational contents. And also, it's worth to note that this channel is not only for forex. I'm also going to be putting some Web3 stuff in here, but for now, it's going to be only for forex. All right. So I'll see you guys again some other time, and until Wednesday.